podcast with your host Sean Myrie, live on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Right now, just trying something new to see the algorithm, on D2E network. Bless, what's everybody saying? This is kind of like a test, broadcasting straight to Twitch and YouTube. We live on stream right now. Please subscribe, everybody. Subscribe. Yep, all that good stuff. Like, comment. Yep, I've been doing the news for a while, but what's the updates for the news is probably the same thing. What's going on? Probably with the Diddy trial, new characters coming up. Um, The world tariffs are still going on by Trump. Donald Trump still got those tariffs going on. It's a little bit quiet about the whole TikTok thing. Before there was threats of TikTok shutting down a couple times, but Donald Trump stopped that. He stopped, the full shutdown of TikTok, so we don't hear about that anymore. Now Canada, we got a new prime minister, Carney, and he basically showed Trump really his cards, like, laying them out, saying that Canada's not for sale, all that 51st state talk. He just shut that down. And that is world news right there because the tariffs, most of the tariffs, the focus was between Canada and America. But now it's the world, right? So it's not just Canada and America; it's the entire world. And Carney's holding his own against Donald Trump. So he's always news. Donald Trump is always news. There's always something coming out with him. People want him to pardon. A lot of people are asking Donald Trump to pardon for pardons, saying like he could get people out of prison or he could shorten their whatever sentence. He has some influence. So that's the big thing what's going on with Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump is doing pardons, he's doing all types of things, right? That's where he's getting more attention from right now. But other than Donald Trump news, what else news is out there? You know what? There's not too much news. What is out there? What is attractive for people to really watch and listen to? Right? It's the same stories, right? Elon Musk, he stepped away from politics. He's not with Donald Trump anymore, so he stepped away, probably to focus more on his company or companies. So he stepped away from a position of politics. So it'll be interesting to see what he does right now because he's into the tech and the technology and stuff. So politics, he already had enough of it that he already stepped out of it. He wasn't even in there too long. He just wanted to see what's going on. Elon Musk, not with Trump anymore. But what else is going on? Not too much. But we live on Twitch. Bless up. Twitch and YouTube right now. What you saying, people? Yep. A lot of things are going on. Like the Diddy case is like a nasty case right now. Like that case to report every day. You're gonna hear about a lot of nasty stuff. If you're into that type of soap type of shit, then yeah, it's gonna get you. But talking about Diddy all the time, I don't know about that. That can make a series for yourself, right? But there's all types of news coming out. I know the Tupac stuff, they kind of quiet that down with the Keefe D stuff because they accuse that guy of killing or unaliving Tupac, and he's locked up right now. His case is still around, and we're not hearing too much about that. You're hearing about Suge Knight talking from prison more. He even has a podcast. Suge Knight has a podcast, so you should check for that. But he's been talking a lot about other celebrities. Snoop Dogg made a song recently dissing Suge Knight, saying that he took everything what he had and how he's basically, the owner of Death Row right now and stuff like that. And that's facts. So you got to go check that out, people. Check that out. That song, what Snoop dropped, it's from his new album. I forgot the new album's name, though. But you got to check that out. He disses Suge on a new track. But that's the controversy in that right now because that's linked with Tupac, right? Once in a while, Suge Knight will talk about Tupac still from prison. He'll talk about Tupac. So now with this whole P Diddy stuff coming out, it makes you wonder who was the real bully. If Puff Daddy's like this, what they claim right now, you hear about all these different stuff he was into, and he was trying to unalive even Suge Knight, maybe more than once. So, what made Sean Combs so brave to go after Suge Knight all of a sudden? If Suge Knight was the big bully, right? It's interesting. Like Puffy, he became the bully after people were thinking Suge is the bully. So now you got to look on. I think my dissection of this whole thing with Puffy really is more deeper than all this trafficking and all this stuff. This is dealing with like M's connection to like the Tupac and the Biggie stuff. That's what's haunting uh, Puffy. It's hanging over his head. Look at the coincidence. Sugar's in jail and Puffy's in jail. Both of the labels, what was in the so-called East Coast West Coast War, both moguls, both owners are, representing Bad Boy Sean P. Diddy Combs in prison, representing Death Row before Suge Knight, right, in prison for he put himself there in a way because when he went to that video or whatever the movie shoot or something when he ran over his friend, he put himself in that position though. But yeah, it's crazy, yo. It's like people call this conspiracy, but really, if you do your research and stuff, a lot of things connect because Suge Knight and Puffy have a history from a long time ago, a long time ago, if not like the early '90s or so or mid '90s, and they're both locked up in prison. But you notice you don't hear about Puffy talking. Puffy, you don't hear about him talking. You just hear about his lawyers making moves in the court. You don't hear about Puffy talking, right? I'm just saying. And I know then I could go on to the Tory Lanez news. Like Tory Lanez is another like people say conspiracy, a whole conspiracy story of a rising top artist in the world at the top of his game gets locked up under the some very very strange situations, right? And almost dying in prison. It's crazy. And videos are coming out. Like there's actual evidence more than usual coming out, but people like are you still denying the evidence, even the video and the audio and the person that came forward and mentioned that they witnessed who'd really done it and who was saying it? That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. Free Tory though. Free Tory. Hopefully Tory does come home. Hopefully they free him because this is not right, yo. I know people are talking about it. I've been talking about it for a while, but this is not right. All this stuff is out. And the man, if anybody needs a pardon, it should be Tory. If anybody needs a pardon, it should be Tory. I'm just saying because all this stuff was coming out, and then that that girl is like denying it still. She's still denying it, everything, and to call him a demon. Holy, she's calling the man a demon. I don't know, y'all. But it's down to earth. Please subscribe, people. Subscribe. live on Twitch, right? Live on YouTube right now. Please subscribe. But yeah, a lot of contents coming with a lot of content, man. A lot of news, like I'm saying, is out there. Local news, international news, right? So far, it's the coldest spring in a long time, but now it's June. Finally, hopefully, it warms up in Canada, man. In the six, it's been cold, but yeah, the weather is just changing. Hopefully now, June 1st. But people, please subscribe, support the network. But yeah, what's out there? Like I said, I talked about Tory, what's important in the world, what's going on. I talked about Trump. What else is important? What's going on in Africa now? Everybody knows about Ibrahim Traore, right? Revolutionary, that's what some say. Controversial, very controversial, because he's fighting against the Western, whatever, the colonization nations. And he's looked on as a villain to many, but to a lot, he's still a hero. So it's crazy. France hates him. The government of France hates him because he took away their natural resource money. The government of France really hates him because they were a big colony for them to make money. So when this guy decided to take over and become independent and kick them out, they're angry because they know that they're gonna make themselves strong with being independent and controlling their money to deal with other nations instead of them taking it and using it the same what the same way, but it wasn't benefiting the people. He's building schools, building roads, building infrastructure for his people, right? In Burkina Faso, he's building infrastructure for his people. This story is suppressed, even though I know about it, I see it. This story is being suppressed in the media still, right? Because if you even see it and it's being pushed, it's a thing they don't want to push. It's something they've been fighting against for a long time. A black strong figure image, right? Most of them got assassinated, right? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the list goes on. So they don't want no more of that. They don't want no more of that, but it's happening right now in Africa. It's happening all around the world with people who connect, right, with Africa. So good luck to the colonizers fighting them for their natural resources now. They got support from China, Russia, all types of big, you know, nations. They got support. Will this continue with other African countries? Hopefully. Hopefully, this influences other African countries to be more independent if they ain't independent right now. Right? So that's all I'm saying. It's down to earth D2E. Please subscribe. Sean Myrie, live on Twitch. If you have a Twitch channel, please follow us on the Down to Earth podcast, the Down to Earth network on YouTube, right? So yeah, follow us on the Twitch. We're gonna be doing some gaming pods too coming soon on the Twitch. So you're gonna see the latest games and you're gonna hear the commentary with me. So the latest games and commentary on whatever's hot, hot topics. But bless up to everybody. Live and direct D2E, Sean Myrie. What you saying, people? A lot of things are going on. A lot of bullshit too in the city, local news. if this is something what people like to hear about, like, local rappers fighting, beefing, recording themselves, robbing each other. So that is the local, if that's the hot news, local rappers going back and forth, taking each other's chains, beating up each other, and taking video of it. That's what's hot right now in Toronto for the rap scene. Can't really talk about too much hot artists that are getting really spotlighted and pushed in the city right now in the six. All we could talk about mostly is the beef. The beef is what makes, I guess, replaces the art, right? It outshines the art because I'm not really seeing any tracks what are highlighted from any of these artists who are beefing in Toronto, right? There's nothing. So this is probably the only way to really be relevant. You gotta do this shit. This is like the bad girls or whatever, baddies and shit. It's like, the male version of baddies. That's what it is. Like that ratchet shit. That's what's the new style. Ratchet. So and on video, even if it could incriminate you, you don't they don't care. But that's what's going on right now. But please subscribe, people, to the D2E, right? Down to Earth Network on YouTube, Down to Earth Podcasts on Twitch. Yeah, find us live and direct right now. Yep, a lot of new stories will be coming out. Obviously, it's social media. And social media, people socialize all the time, man. New things. But yeah, bless up to everybody supporting the network, supporting the channel, right? We got we got a lot of things coming up in the future. But bless up. It's down to earth.